So this happened about 2 years ago. Me and my three friends, Ray, Nico, and Sam, planned this weekend road trip just to get out of the city for a bit. Clear our heads, get drunk in the woods, maybe chase a few ghost stories around the fire. It wasn't supposed to be anything crazy. We picked this cabin in upstate Pennsylvania near the Allegheny Forest. It was a bit remote, yeah, but the pictures looked dope. Trees all around, no neighbors, and the reviews said it was peaceful, like being completely cut off from the world. At the time, that sounded like a dream. We packed up Ray's Jeep, filled the trunk with snacks, beer, and some firewood, and headed out Friday morning. The GPS said it'd take around 5.5 hours. That was cool. Music blasting, windows down, laughing our asses off. The first 3 hours were chill. Then we took this turn off the highway onto this long-ass, narrow road through the woods. No street lights, barely any signs. The trees leaned over like they were trying to block the sun. Nico joked, "This is how horror movies start," and we all laughed. But man, if only we knew. About 30 minutes in, we lost signal, like no bars, nothing. But the GPS was still working, so we weren't stressing. Then we passed this gas station. Old, rusty, looked like it hadn't been open in decades. There was this guy outside, sitting in a rocking chair, just staring at us. Not waving, not smiling, just staring. Blank face, dead eyes. Sam was like, "Dude looked like he's been waiting for us." We laughed it off again. Should have turned around right then. After about another hour, the GPS rerouted and told us to take this dirt road. It didn't look like a road, honestly. More like a trail for ATVs. But we followed it anyway. A couple more miles, and we reached the cabin. Now here's the thing. The place looked similar to the pics, but not exactly. Like it aged 30 years since the photos were taken. The wood was darker, the paint was chipped. The windows had grime like nobody's cleaned them in forever. We were already there, though, and we weren't trying to waste gas turning back. Inside was dusty, but manageable. 3 small rooms, kitchen, and a living room with a fireplace. We cleaned up, cracked open a few beers, lit a fire out back, and just chilled. But the weirdness started that first night. Around 2 a.m., we were all outside, sitting around the fire, when Nico suddenly went quiet. Like mid-sentence, just stopped talking and stared into the woods. "Did you hear that?" he said. We all stopped and listened. At first, nothing, then we heard it. Soft whispering, like wind, but not quite, like actual whispering, coming from the woods. We figured it was the wind or maybe some animal, but Nico looked freaked. "It said my name," he whispered. "I swear it said my F******ing name." Now that killed the vibe real quick. We headed inside, locked up, and called it a night. At around 3:30 a.m., I woke up to footsteps. Not creaks in the wood or rats in the walls, footsteps inside the cabin. Heavy ones, like boots. I sat up, heart pounding, and peeked out the bedroom door. Nothing. I went to check on the guys. All 3 were asleep. Then I noticed something. The front door was wide open. I know we locked that thing. We checked twice. I shut it, locked it again, and went back to bed, telling myself, maybe the wind somehow blew it open. The next morning, nobody really slept well. Sam had this long scratch on his shoulder, like 3 distinct lines. "Dude, what the hell?" I asked. He shrugged. "I thought it was from a branch or something, but I don't remember getting scratched." That afternoon, we decided to go for a short hike. Needed to get out of that cabin for a bit. We followed a trail behind the cabin that led deeper into the woods. After maybe 20 minutes, we found this clearing with an old moss-covered stone circle in the middle. It looked like a fire pit, but way too symmetrical. There were also these hanging wooden dolls, like voodoo-type *T, hanging from trees all around the circle. "Nope," Ray said. "I'm out." We turned around and left. The air just felt heavy there, like you weren't supposed to be there. Back at the cabin, things escalated. That night, Sam started sleep-talking. First, it was gibberish, then full-on sentences. He said things like, "It's watching from the trees, and don't look it in the eyes." We tried waking him up, and nothing worked. He sat up suddenly, eyes still closed, and whispered, "One of us won't leave." I don't think I've ever been so creeped out. Eventually, he just lay back down and started snoring. Next morning, he had no memory of it. We all agreed to leave early the next morning, but the cabin had other plans. Around midnight, the lights started flickering. Then they went out completely. Ray tried to turn the generator back on, but it wouldn't start. That's when we heard footsteps on the roof. Clear, slow, deliberate. We ran out, looked up, and nobody there. Then Nico screamed, like really screamed. We turned around, and he was pointing at the woods. There was someone there, he said, staring at me. Tall, pale face, black eyes. We didn't see anything, but we didn't wait around to check. We went back in, all four of us in the living room, flashlights ready. Then the front door creaked open on its own, again. This time, Ray rushed and slammed it shut. "We're not alone," he whispered. Around 2 a.m., we heard whispering again. This time from inside the cabin, behind the walls. And then the laughing started. Soft, childlike giggles. We lost it. Packed whatever we could, jumped into the Jeep, and started driving. But we couldn't find the trail back to the main road. We drove in circles. GPS was dead. Compass app wasn't working. We kept passing the same trees, same fallen logs, same rotted deer carcass. Like we were stuck in a loop. Nico suddenly slammed the brakes and shouted, "Look!" There on the trail ahead was the same man from the gas station, just standing there in the dark. No car, no lights, same dead eyes. We reversed, took a different path, no idea where it led. After what felt like hours, the woods suddenly cleared, and we were back on pavement. Just like that. Signal came back. GPS worked again. We didn't say a word the whole ride back. Weeks later, I tried looking up the cabin online. Nothing. The listing disappeared. The address didn't exist anymore. I called the booking number, disconnected. It was like it never existed. But the scratches on Sam's back? The weird dreams Ray started having after we got home? Nico waking up in cold sweats every night for a month? That was all very real. And sometimes late at night, when it's super quiet, I swear I hear those whispers again, like they followed us home. Whatever was out there, it didn't want us to leave. And maybe part of us never really did. All right, so this one's not mine. It's my cousin Jess's story, and she swears it really happened. I wasn't there, but I know Jess. She doesn't make asterisks up. She's a no-nonsense type, hates ghost stories, never watches horror movies. So when she told me this, dead serious, with that look in her eyes, I believed every damn word. It was summer 2019. Jess and her best friend Liv were on a week-long road trip across New Mexico and Arizona. The plan was simple. Hit up national parks, camp a few nights, crash in cheap motels, and just explore before starting their new jobs. Day 4. They were heading toward the petrified forest. Everything was normal till the weather suddenly turned weird. Like, out of nowhere, this thick fog rolled in the middle of the day. Not cloudy, like straight-up horror movie fog. Visibility dropped to like 10 feet. Jess said it was freaky because they were in the desert. Fog like that? Makes no sense. They slowed down and kept driving. After about half an hour, they realized something was off. The GPS froze, then rerouted, then died completely. They were officially lost. No cell service either, of course. After what felt like forever of driving through nothing, they saw this old neon motel sign flickering through the fog. Desert Moon Inn. Not on the map, not on Google. But at that point, they were just relieved to see anything. The place looked abandoned, but kind of open. Office lights were on. There was one dusty car parked out front. They went in, rang the bell, and this older guy came out of the back. Pale, real thin. Friendly voice, but something was off. He said they were lucky. Last room available. Jess said she noticed the key tag was one of those old-school ones, with Room 6 handwritten on it. The hallway to the rooms was dimly lit. Carpet smelled musty, wallpaper peeling. But hey, better than sleeping in the car, right? They got to their room. 2 beds, tiny bathroom, TV from the early 2000s. Windows didn't open, and the door had no deadbolt. That bugged Jess. Anyway, they unpacked, tried to relax. But the longer they stayed, the heavier the air felt. Liv said it smelled like iron, like blood. Jess just brushed it off, stress maybe. Then the TV turned on by itself. Black and white static, no volume, just on. Jess turned it off. A few minutes later, it turned back on. They unplugged it, still turned on. That's when Liv got freaked and said, "We need to leave." Jess agreed. They packed up quick, walked out, and the hallway was different. Longer. The wallpaper had changed. The lights were dimmer. And when they got to where the lobby should have been, it wasn't there. Just more hallway, more doors, all unlabeled. They went back to their room to regroup, but the room door was gone. Just blank wall. They started panicking, running down the hallway, yelling for help. No one answered. Then they heard it. Thumping footsteps behind them, heavy, slow, like boots dragging on the floor. They turned. Nothing. But the sound kept following. They ran, turned a corner, and suddenly the lobby was there again, like it had shifted. The old man was standing behind the desk. Except this time, his smile was gone. His eyes were black. Not like dark eyes, literally pitch black. Jess said her body just froze. Liv grabbed her arm and whispered, "Don't say anything. Just walk." They walked out and didn't speak, didn't look back. The fog was still thick, but they didn't care. They got in the car and just drove. No GPS, no idea where they were going, just away. After maybe 30 minutes of silence, the fog cleared. Cell service came back. GPS started working again. They pulled over at a gas station, shaken, trying to process what the hell happened. Jess tried looking up Desert Moon Inn. Nothing. No results, no mentions, nothing on any map. They even went back the next day, thinking maybe it was a bad dream or shared delusion. The road they thought they came from didn't exist. There was no turnoff, just a dead end. No building, no sign, nothing. They still don't know what that place was or how they ended up there. Jess never went on another road trip again. She says sometimes when she's half asleep she hears that static sound or the thump of boots on carpet. She always locks every door, keeps a nightlight on. And she never, ever stays in a motel without a deadbolt. So this isn't one of those someone told me stories. This happened to me and 3 of my closest friends back in late 2018. I haven't told many people, mostly because I still don't fully get what happened that night. But every time I close my eyes, I still see those trees and that thing in the dark. We were on a road trip from Colorado to Utah. Just 4 guys in our mid-20s, me, Z, Josh, the loud one, Darren, the responsible one, and Kevin, the conspiracy nut. The plan was simple. Drive to Zion, hike, chill, then head back. No fancy hotels, just a few tents, some gas station snacks, and music loud enough to blow our eardrums out. The first couple days went smooth. Beautiful views, clear skies, late-night laughs, until the last night. That night ruined everything. We were driving back from Utah, trying to reach Colorado Springs before midnight. It was getting late, like 10:45 p.m., and we were in that no-man's land stretch between towns where there's nothing but blackness outside your window and the occasional flicker of a distant porch light. Josh was driving. I was shotgun. The other two were asleep in the back. Suddenly we hit traffic. A long line of brake lights. Construction. No signs, just cones and flashing lights and a detour sign pointing toward a narrow two-lane road to the right. We were tired. Josh groaned and smacked the wheel. We'll be stuck here for hours. Then Kevin woke up and leaned forward between the seats. Yo, he said, rubbing his eyes. There's a shortcut through Oak Ridge Forest. The locals use it all the time. Cuts through to Route 29 and pops out near Pueblo. I checked the GPS. Nothing about a road there. Just forest. You sure? I asked. Kevin pulled out his phone and started scrolling some sketchy Reddit thread. Look, someone posted this route a year ago. It's just a Forest Service road. Gravel, maybe a little bumpy. But it's direct. Josh shrugged. Better than sitting here for 3 hours. So yeah, we turned. That was our first mistake. At first it was fine. The pavement turned to dirt, then gravel. Trees closed in on both sides, but the road was clear. The headlights lit up the path ahead, and we played music to keep things chill. But after maybe 20 minutes, the GPS lost signal. Kevin laughed nervously. No big deal. It'll come back. Darren, now awake, said, feels weird. You sure this road's real? Kevin looked defensive. Yes, I think so. That's when we passed the sign, hand-painted, old. Oak Ridge Hollow, travel quietly. The word quietly had been underlined twice. None of us spoke. Then the headlights caught something up ahead, a deer maybe, but it was too still. Standing just off the road, completely motionless, not even blinking. Its eyes reflected light, but it didn't flinch or run. Josh slowed down. Why is it just standing there? Darren muttered. And then it took a step back. Not like a deer, like a person walking backward in costume. Josh hit the gas. The road started narrowing. The trees got taller, and it felt like they were leaning inward, swallowing the car. After a few more miles, we reached a fork. No signs, no arrows. Just left or right? Kevin checked his phone again. Dead. GPS still frozen. Left, he said, confident. Feels right. Josh turned left. A mile or so in, we saw something that made my stomach twist. Another fork. Identical. Same leaning trees. Same rocks. Same fork. Josh muttered. Didn't we just do this? We marked a tree with my pocket knife. Drove left again. A few minutes later, same fork, same damn tree. Our mark. Yo, Josh said. What the actual... Darren spoke up. I think we're going in circles. Kevin laughed, but it was dry. Maybe it's just a weird loop. Try right this time. We went right. Same thing. We were stuck. Trapped in some kind of twisted loop. And that's when the real weirdness started. Somewhere after the 5th loop, we saw her. Just standing there in the road. Pale, long hair, old dress. She wasn't moving. Josh hit the brakes. We all jerked forward. What the *******, K? Darren screamed. She didn't flinch. Just stared, or maybe not. Her eyes looked closed. Josh opened the window a crack. Hey, ma'am, are you okay? No response. She didn't even breathe. Then as the headlights flickered, yes, they flickered for a second, she vanished. Like literally wasn't there anymore. Not moved, not ran, I'm gone. We were done. I'm turning around, Josh said, voice shaking. He reversed, fast, tires crunching gravel. But when we turned back to where we'd come from, there was no road. Just trees. Thick, dense, impassable. The headlights barely worked now. They dimmed randomly and buzzed like there was some interference. Then the radio turned on by itself. White noise. Low static at first, then faint whispering. Not music, not voices. Whispers. We turned it off. It came back. Turned it off again. Static. Kevin screamed, "We're not supposed to be here!" Then we saw the cabin. Just off the road. Small, rotting, windows boarded up. But there was a light on inside. We parked. Against every horror movie rule. But we were desperate. Darren grabbed the tire iron. Kevin stayed in the car. The rest of us approached the cabin. The front door was ajar. Josh knocked. No answer. He pushed it open. It creaked, so slow it made my skin crawl. Inside was empty. Just old furniture, dust, and a single lit candle on a table. No power, no fireplace. Then we heard a voice. From upstairs. A child's voice. Shh. He's watching. We ran, bolted back to the car. But Kevin was gone. Driver's door open. No keys, no sign. Just the door swinging slowly. We called his name. No answer. We drove. Didn't know where. Just drove. Then something hit the car roof. Thump. We all screamed. Josh stopped the car. I opened the door, stepped out, and looked up. Nothing. Then we saw Kevin, standing in the middle of the road up ahead, head down, not moving. We ran up to him. He looked wrong. His eyes were open too wide, pupils tiny, skin cold. He whispered. I saw them. Saw who? I asked. He didn't answer. Just started walking. We followed. Couldn't leave him. He led us off the road, into the trees, into pitch darkness. No flashlights, no sounds. Then we heard footsteps, all around, running, but nothing visible. Kevin suddenly screamed and collapsed. We picked him up and ran, somehow found our way back to the road. But the car was gone. We walked. Hours. Then as the sun started rising, we hit pavement again. Real pavement. Cars passed us. We were out. We flagged the driver down, got help, called the cops. They searched the forest. Found nothing. No forks, no cabin, no road. Not even tire tracks. Kevin wouldn't talk for days. When he finally did, all he said was, "They live in the silence, and once you hear them, they know your name." None of us ever took road trips again. Kevin moved to Alaska. Doesn't talk to anyone. Darren turned religious. Goes to church every week. Josh? Stopped driving completely. Takes the bus everywhere. And me. I still hear static sometimes, even when the radio's off.